All right, in this guide, I'm going to show you how I use ChatGPT to vibe code really premium looking assets for my software and my other products. Personally, I like to use ChatGPT just because it has all the information on everything I've ever done for the past year on this specific project. But tools like Claude and other LLMs are actually even better for vibe coding. But in this case, we'll do it with GPT. So really simple. And if you're not familiar with vibe coding, basically you are just telling your LLM what you want and telling it to create the code for you. And then based on what you see, you're kind of going off vibes, right? So you're saying, hey, this is too boxy, or this looks bad on mobile, or this doesn't look right here. And you're just continuing to go through these different reiterations of the code it gave you until you found what you're looking for. This is exactly what I've done to create our support center here, our concierge service here, everything. This has all been vibe coded. So we are now going to create an affiliate portal or an ambassador portal for our coaches so they can go in and access their assets to easily share our program or our software here as an affiliate. So what I'm going to do is I go into HighLevel here, or into a GPT here, and I first say, hey, let's vibe code a new page. And I'm here in my project. This knows everything about this whole project and what I'm doing. I always start with a visual example with a screenshot. If I have it, if I'm going from scratch, then I have to be very descriptive in what I'm looking for and then work from there. But since this is all going to live in this same place and I already have this set up, I'm going to use that as my reference point. And then I always dictate everything using the dictate feature right here. It just saves a ton of time. So I'm going to tell it what I'm looking for. We need a dashboard quick link for our ambassadors to easily access the promo assets to share Real Estate Autopilot, as well as remind them that they're required to have one affiliate per month in order to keep their ambassador price and ambassador status. If they do not hit that quota, they will automatically be moved to a full price pricing plan. I want you to create a page that matches the vibe of the image attached as far as the background goes. The top can say Ambassador Portal. Then we can have a quick subheadline with the information I just gave you. And then a button below with this link. The button should say Access Ambassador Promo Assets here. So now that I've dictated that, we're just going to let it load up. And I've already grabbed my link. And I'm just going to say, here is that link. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that link in. And let's see what it comes up with. Now, the thing with vibe coding is it can create really awesome stuff, but sometimes it can be a real fight. So sometimes the LLM will just knock it out of the park right away. Other times it looks really bad. And you have to continue to go through these iterations of feedback loops in order to get it to the point that you want to get it to. But as you can see, it's coding this whole thing. And obviously, I don't know how to code. You probably don't know how to code. So as people who don't know how to code, this is a huge asset. So we're going to go ahead and let this load up, and then we'll see what it came up with. Okay, so now that it's done, and you'll know that it's done, obviously, once it stops coding, but you can also just look for this div here at the very end. That's how you know that it's completed the section. GPT makes it really easy to just come in here and copy the code. But first, we need to actually set up our page. So here in GHL, I'm going to create a new funnel here, and then we'll put in the code and see how this looks. Okay, so we've got our ambassador portal here. I'm just going to add a step, and we'll just call this portal and create funnel step. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our code and actually see what this thing looks like, see if GPT missed the mark or hit the bullseye. Typically, you're going to find that it's somewhere in between. So we're going to create from a blank page here, let this load up, and we're just going to add in a code element. Go ahead and drag that guy in here, and we already copied our code. So we're going to open up our code box here, paste that in, click save, and we'll go ahead and preview that and see how this looks. All right, so right now we're seeing nothing, right? Now, sometimes that's an issue with GHL not saving properly. Okay, so as you can see, it was an issue with GHL not saving properly. We saved it again. Here it is. Now, this does not look how we wanted, right? This Background is not facing the whole, not covering the whole page. Everything else looks okay. But I'm going to then just use a screenshot. Always use screenshots. Give it visual reference. And then we're going to go ahead and get our next round of revisions. This is looking solid. However, the background gradient should cover the full width of the page, not just the box. Also, it says Ambassador Portal, and then right below it, the headline says Ambassador Portal. We do not need this redundancy. Let's also make sure there's no redundancy in the two subheadline sections. We can reduce those into one section. All right, so then I just went through and I made sure that the Ambassador link worked to go to our Google Drive. So now I'm going to submit this round of revisions here with my visual aid over to GHL. Or not GHL, over to ChatGPT. And let's see what it comes up with now. Now, as you can see, when you make the revisions, usually the LLM will give you kind of some context or information about what went wrong, why it went wrong, what it's going to do to fix it. Again, sometimes this can really be a battle. There have been some vibe coding sessions that have just taken hours and hours of me banging my head against the wall trying to fix one specific thing. Pro tip, sometimes you just need to throw it into a new chat. And just kind of describe where you were, and sometimes the new chat gets it right the first time. But it can be a bit of a battle, but I find that it's always worth it as long as it turns out good. So we'll go ahead and copy our new updated code. We'll throw this into our code box. We will click save, save here again, and now let's preview again. So again, right, it's looking exactly the same. We want to make sure that GHL saved properly and that we're getting the new code, because this literally looks exactly the same. So always double check. So let's go ahead and grab a brand new code box. Go ahead and save again. Click the preview. I'm still seeing the same exact issues. And when I see the same exact thing over and over again, sometimes I think that it can be an issue on HighLevel side. So let's actually go into this second page I made, and we're going to create from blank. Lately, I'm finding that GHL is having a lot of issues when it comes to saving landing page updates and site updates. So I always want to double check before I go and tell the LLM, hey, this is the same thing, and I battle with it over and over again, when in fact it was just GHL not saving and reflecting the saved update. So let's try it here on a fresh page to make sure. Go ahead and click our save button, click our preview button, and now again, we're getting a blank page. So as you can see, it can be a bit of a battle here. Mainly because if you're doing this in HighLevel like I am, you can see I refresh the page and nothing gets saved. You're working with two fairly unstable tools. You all know I'm a huge advocate, huge fan of HighLevel. I think despite its flaws, it is the best product on the market, but it definitely can be a bit buggy and a bit frustrating, as can GPT. Okay, so again, right, what we're seeing now is that this background is still off. So what I'm going to tell the LLM is say, look, the background is still not covering the full page. Give it one more go and see if you can get the background to cover the full width of the page. If not, I will have to get a separate code and input it directly. So I'm going to go ahead and give it my feedback here. So what I'm doing here is I went into that support funnel that I showed you earlier. And in this funnel, I have just a standalone background wrapper that will ensure that the entire page has the background. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this code right here, and then we're going to drag it into our ambassador. Sometimes you just have to break it down into two different codes, one for a background, one for the actual page content. So I'm actually just going to tell the LLM, hey, I went ahead and just did this myself. Give me a new version with no background gradient. I have a separate code I will input for the background gradient. Also, remove any extra buffers on the top so the headline is up close to the top of the page. So let's go ahead and send that feedback over. So as you can see here, it's just a constant feedback loop of solving problems, telling the LLM what you like, what you don't like, etc. So we're going to come back here to our portal page, and we're going to go ahead and just make sure we're starting from a clean slate. So go ahead and save that. Again, we see HighLevel having these issues with not saving. So there we go, it's saved on the second time. So what I'm going to do here is first drop in my background wrapper. We'll go ahead and we'll click save. And all I did for that was just describe the background that I wanted, right? I gave it my brand colors. I said, give me a nice, cool gradient. Describe that this was a high-level software as a service product, fit that vibe, right? And it will do the rest of the work. So here we have our main background. Now let's grab another code block. And now let's go ahead and try our updated code. Go ahead and click save. Beautiful. Here we go. So Ambassador Portal. This is your central hub for sharing real estate autopilot. Access to approved promo assets below and maintain your ambassador status by referring at least one new affiliate per month. If this quota is not met, your account will be automatically moved to the standard full price plan. Go ahead and check that out. Beautiful. So this is perfect. So that took me about 11 minutes here. It probably would have been less if I wasn't filming a video. But all in all, definitely much faster than trying to code something myself, and in a lot of cases, much faster than building out a funnel. Now, of course, I could just build this out as a standard funnel, but because this is a premium high-ticket SaaS program, we try to keep everything in that vein. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed into our SaaS, and then I'll show you what it looks like live. All right, so now here in our SaaS menu, down here at the bottom, we have our Ambassador Portal. When this is clicked on, it's just going to open up right here in the iframe inside of our software. So that is my process for vibe coding. Again, Claude and some other LLMs are honestly better than GPT. I just use GPT because it knows everything about everything in my businesses, and I've got a good feel for how it works. But again, you're going off vibes. You're telling it what you want. Utilize visual examples. Utilize the dictation with your microphone for just faster communication, and just tell it and describe what changes you want and go through those reiterations and those changes and those revisions. And eventually you'll come up with something that you're really happy with and really excited about. For example, the main website for this product, this is largely vibe coded, and this turns out really good, right? In a traditional funnel builder, you can't be doing things like this, right? These different features that open up the different menus, and you can just get a lot higher level, especially with things like your menus here. And if you're selling something that's a premium service, you want to look the part. And vibe coding is a super easy way for people like me that don't have any actual coding skills to make that happen. If you have any questions, drop them down below. My email's in the description as well. There's a link in the description with a bunch of free stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If you found the video to be helpful, go ahead, give it a like. I'll see you next time. Peace.